Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Raising Vibration Radio. I'm your host, Reverend Raven, and tonight I have a special guest that has this beautiful energy, and I can't wait to share him with you all. His name is John Farris, and John. Tonight, you decided that we're going to do a little prayer or meditation before the show starts, right?
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to kick off things. And what I'd like to pray and intend that everybody that's tuning in, uh, just their prayers and intentions in their lives just come out better than uh, you could have ever imagined, and that this show is full of joy and light and activations for those who participate in it. And that we just have an amazing show between us, and looking forward to connecting with all your viewers and listeners.
All right, I'm ready for it. So let's go. Let's get
Yay.
into that high vibration.
Nice. So you had some questions for me, yeah? To get this party started?
No. I thought we were going to do a quick meditation real quick.
Oh,
Do
okay. I'm
you
sorry. Let's do
yeah,
that.
okay. All right. So we're going to take a couple of deep breaths in, and we're just going to relax, and we're going to feel the energy that's going on in this broadcast right now. And for you listeners that don't join us live, just make sure you're not driving or anything like that, and just take a couple of deep breaths. And when you're taking those deep breaths in, when you're releasing, remember the gratitude that you have for being on this planet right now. There's some very exciting things going on right now in this very moment. So just have the gratitude for that. And we're just going to close our eyes, and we're going to thank the universe for all the many blessings and love surprises that we witness every day. And I want to thank everybody that's joining us here live. And I want to thank John for giving us his energy this evening and being a part of the broadcast. Just feel and be sure to be thinking about your questions tonight that you might have for John, because we're here. We're going to go have a great show, but breathe in that energy, that beautiful light. You feel it coming from the crown, going through your whole body and exiting out to your feet to Mother Earth. Two more deep breaths. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for that. So, John, tell us a little bit about yourself, about you, the person John, and your spiritual path.
Oh, my gracious. Okay, so where to begin? I have had a lot of careers in my life. I was actually in the Army right out of high school for a couple of years in West Germany, and came back, and not sure what I was going to do with my life at that point. But I had a fishing buddy in Virginia Beach, Virginia, where I grew up, and his roommate was a chef at a restaurant down at the beach. And so I became really interested in the culinary arts. I've always been a creative person, and so I went to cooking school in New York at the Culinary Institute of America, and really found my passion there with cooking and the culinary arts, and really rose to the top of my game a couple years later, where I became an executive chef at these fishing lodges. I have a past life with an ex-wife and a pastry shop during that time, but I had moved on and moved to Aspen, Colorado, and there was the pastry chef there. He went up to Alaska every summer and decided to invite me up there, and I applied for the job and spent 4 summers and a winter up there. And that probably was it was a really exciting time in my life, but I really got super burned out working that hard. And so it was like this, what else am I going to do? What else can I transform myself into? And at that point, I had um, kind of moved back to Virginia Beach for a second, and then had this call to go out to California. And it's really interesting because I ended up in Humboldt County and was really passionate. I felt this deep calling for working with medical marijuana. And that was a good 10 years of my life that I lived there and was involved with that. And I guess at this point in time, I was really very conscious and already had woken up and read a lot of books with, I don't know, Barbara Masiniak and Bringers of the Dawn, and read a lot of the Seth material, which really opened my eyes to consciousness and beyond the 3D world and whatnot. So I was involved with that industry for about 8 years, and I actually did a lot of tree climbing there as well. I learned how to climb trees and worked for a company after my culinary days. And around 2008, I became really allergic to the medicine, and even just a vegetative leaf on my arm would cause this big red rash. And so for 2 years, I was asking Spirit, please show me a new path in my life. And 2 years, like I said, 2 years had gone by, and I didn't really have any answers. And there was this one day, I call it the trick of the universe to get me started on this path with the jewelry and the activational amulets that I make. I I went into this a friend of mine's shop in the town that I lived in, and I saw this most beautiful amulet that I'd ever seen. It had all these tourmalines and these sweeping silver curls and whatnot. It was really just amazing, and I fell in love with it. And I laid down the cash for it, and I came home, and I just couldn't stop looking at this thing. I about slept with the thing. So I was really in love with it. Point being, and the next day, that friend, she called me up and she's like, Ferris, you got to bring that back. That was my partner's. I wasn't supposed to sell that to you. And I was like, oh my God. I was super heartbroken. And that I consider the trick of the universe. It was it brought me to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to make one of these for myself. So I went down to the bead shop and bought the tools. And then I figured out a couple of moves from this guy's website that I looked up. And I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop making these. I couldn't stop making amulets. I was just fascinated. It was like every night I didn't want to go to bed at night. I was like, please let me stay awake. And I just kept wanting to make these things. And within a month or so, I was shocked at the skill level that I had. And I really feel like it was some sort of past life remembrance that I was having.
Right.
So the story goes, I started selling them in around town. People loved them. And I was like, okay, well, I'll put a website together, and I had a buddy put a really nice website together. My first website was called Nameless Light Creations. And every day I'd look up 5 to 10 galleries and email them around the country, New York and Aspen and San Francisco and different places like that. And nobody was picking me up. And I just kept at it and kept at it. And then one of my friends said, Ferris, they're crystals. They're uh, spiritual amulets. You should find a town that has that kind of vibration. And I had helped a friend move to Sedona 17 years prior to that. And so that popped in my mind. I was like, oh, Sedona. So I sent out some emails to different galleries around here, and I got picked up. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So the gallery invited me out for a trunk show, and I knew that I was pretty much done with Humboldt County. And it was really an amazing story because I came out here, did the trunk show, and I was like, okay, I really want to move to Sedona. I was had a house at that point in time, and it's like, okay, what am I going to do with my house? Do I sell it? Do I rent it? Whatever. And I had a really nice grow shop in my backyard, and my friends are like, yeah, we want to rent your house. And they gave me my mortgage payment in cash for the entire year, like 25K,
Wow.
to just come out and start my life here in Sedona. So it was this wide open door that brought me to Sedona, and came here. And I realized, selling marijuana is easy. It's kind of a no-brainer. I was
Right.
making
Right.
plenty of cash and doing great with that. But it was really interesting because I really had to go through a lot of growth with my self-worth and my value, because I was afraid to charge for my work at that time. And Sedona, if you've ever been here, it's really a lot of vortexes and a lot of vortex energy. So it really, it's like a crash course in doing your work, doing your inner work. So I've been on this path for 11 years now, and for I've it seems like I've made thousands of these things, and it's very interesting because they're much more than jewelry. They've these amulets that I make. I'll show you one right here. This happens to be a Vogel, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but this is one of my most recent pieces. But my work has been tested on a radionics machine to have a self-sustaining vitality rating, which means this radionics machine is kind of a frequency reader, right? So it
Right.
can read the frequencies of people or soil, or in this case, my amulets. So they were really doing something for people. And, I hear gorgeous and stunning is kind of that commonplace word for my work, but to really, when somebody puts a piece on, if I'm at a show and they're either just like, wow, I could really feel that. I can really, it's doing something to my system. Some people will even break down in tears and just have this emotional response from them. And to, I've been doing this for a while, and at one point I was like, okay, so how can I make this tangible? I can talk about it all day for you viewers and listeners out there. I can talk about it, and you don't really have a picture. So what I did was I went down to one of the aura photo shops here in town that has a Carillion aura photography set up in their
Oh,
shop,
nice.
and I had some pictures made, right? So I have a
Right.
couple of those right here. So this is a picture of my aura before one of my amulets that I had on. And it's okay, there's some
Yeah.
cool colors in there, and it's cool.
Well, you're a deep thinker, and you've got some love energy in there, and there's a little kind of the red is more like untamed energy, like you're working on. So I can see that.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I tried out 5 different amulets, and I just have one here, but this one was one that I put on, and it was
Oh,
really amazing.
look
Like
at that.
like I have a purple afro right now, right?
Oh my God, you can see spirit in there. You can see when we talked about the crown chakra, that photograph right there just reminds me of the ultimate energy coming in. And that's
Right?
beautiful.
Right? So they really are doing something when you wear them, and I really feel that people that are attracted to my work are getting ready for the next level of their life. So there's a process that I go through, and it hasn't changed since day one for me, starting this journey. And it is not, I've never made any design plans or drawings or anything like that with my work. I get the crystal in my hand, and then I'll kind of tune into it, and then I'll start getting information about what needs to go where on the crystal. So the frequencies and vibrations that go into them are totally guided, and I feel like it's from a higher realm for sure. And it's so funny in the beginning when I was making these, I'd put on a piece, I'd make a little weave or a wing or something, and a coil, and put it on. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look so good. And then I'd hear this word, trust. Just keep going, just trust. And so okay. And so I keep going, and then a couple moves later, I was shocked. It was like, wow, that really worked out amazing. I could have never thought of that. So that is the same process that I have when I'm working in my studio. I have a lot of plants around me, a lot of crystals, and a little Buddha over here. And so I consider it my a sacred place that sacred studio, if you will, that I work out of. And for clients, it's kind of the same thing, but really what I'm doing is tuning in. Like if somebody wants me to do a custom piece for me, and they have some intentions like, okay, well, I need some protection, or I need some heart healing, or something like that, I will tune into them, talk, kind of connect with their higher self, and then get the codes and frequencies that need to go into that amulet for that person. So it's super customized. And I would say 99% of the people have really felt something when they wear it, and it's just a deep honor for me to share my gift in this way. I really feel like it's my service work to the world. And so it's kind of my life story in a nutshell there. But that I'm really excited about this. I also make larger activational sculptures. I can't pull one up in front. I don't have one right in front of me right now, but I can grab one if you guys really want to see one. But I make wands. I make these amulets. And it's funny, people are like, do you make rings or earrings or bracelets or anything like that? And I'm like, no, everything. I'm really guided to just make things that go in the heart. So increasing the auric field, the vibrancy of the biofield, and just amping up the person, that gives them that kind of the juice to really step into whatever they're looking to get into next.
That
So
is
yeah.
awesome. So how long does it take for you to make one of those amulets?
Well, I would say that it depends on the size. This one is a really special one. This is and I got into glass a couple of years ago, so I'm kind of incorporating that in my work as well. But I would say on average, it's a 2 or 3 day process, because all the coils and weaves that you see here are all hand spun, and it's not like I sit in the chair for 8 hours a day. It's more like I work until, okay, I need to take a break, or I just need to step back for a second. So I definitely include some balance in my life. And, obviously I get outside in nature here in Sedona and go down to the creek or take a bike ride, or, make myself some lunch or whatever. So it's not like a linear situation for me. But yeah, they're time consuming, but I really want, every time that I sit down in my studio, that I'm in the clearest space, that I'm in my most exuberant vitality, to put that energy into my work. And
So I
I
have a question. When you
yeah,
are working with people, do you have to see them in person? Can you work with remote people in making them a piece to feel their energy, to feel what they need?
I
You
usually
know,
like a picture. I usually like a picture of who that I'm going to be working on it, for whatever reason. That makes it easier for me to connect with them. Um, I've worked with just names before, but I really enjoyed seeing who I'm working for, and definitely their size. Not everybody can wear something that is this big
right?
versus the. I'm really getting into minis right now. These smaller ones, And here's even a smaller one. And that has been really difficult for me. You can see the size difference here.
Yes, I see
Um,
that. Wow.
and it's actually a little bit harder to kind of scale down my work from a large. It's easier to go big, but these smaller ones take a little bit more time and finesse. So I'm really into a lot of a variety of crystals. Here's an amber one that I just created for
Oh,
a
nice.
client, and this is lion's mane from Sumatra. So this is like 250,000 years old. This piece of amber right here, and it actually has the bark on the sides, which is really cool. And
And what does that do, amber? What's the energy source of amber?
well, I feel like it's like joyful vitality. You know, this is like sunlight that's been manifested into like a solid form. And there's only a couple of um, uh, gemstones that are considered organic. Like amber would be one,
Right,
a pearl would be one,
right.
um, like petrified wood would be another one. I'm not sure we consider that a gemstone, but it's really interesting because they still have energy to them, but they're organic. And I believe that all crystals have their own frequency. Like here's an amethyst, double two amethysts that are together, and this one's actually reversible. And amethyst is really for protection and clearing, and I just ordered a bunch of these faceted ones and have been having a ton of fun with them. So yeah, there's I don't make a ton of necklaces, but here's one with a sunset aura quartz.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
Right? It's kind of large, it's kind of big, but there is
Yeah.
there's actually a lot of people that enjoy bigger work. And this one's really fun because it has some carved bone beads here, and these are porcelain beads made by some Japanese person that has a poem about spring on them. So, and these are little amethyst here. So this is a really sweet. And sunset aura is really interesting because I don't know if do you know about the aura quartz like aqua aura and angel aura, Raven?
I somewhat, yes, I do. And I grew up around gemstones,
Okay.
and my father was a GIA gemologist
Oh
and a
wow.
jeweler. And my
Okay.
grandfather was he participated with gemstones. So we went out to quartzsite, and
Oh, fun.
yeah, we went out every year, Phoenix, the big gym shows,
Down in
back in the
Tucson.
70s and the 80s. I don't know if they still do those big gym shows anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
Tucson's still happening. The
oh,
Tucson
is this
Chamber and stuff.
quartzsite? Do they still have them in quartzsite, or do you know?
Yeah, Courtside's still happening, but I that show has kind of gone downhill over the last couple of years. I don't even attend it anymore. It seems like less people are going, and
Uh-huh.
obviously uh, the the situation that we've been dealing with for the last couple of years shut it down for a good year. But things seem to be back on track, and Tucson actually got canceled last year as well. So I'm excited to be going back down there and seeing all the goodies down there. I have to be very careful with my money or I will blow it really fast.
Oh, I know it's really easy. And my grandfather didn't believe in the energy hoopla, but he would sell to people, that they would go, and I witnessed this back in the 70s. People would pick up the stones. And mind you, I was a child then. I was, preteens. But I would watch
Okay.
them pick up a stone, feel the energy, put it up to their third eye, which I didn't know that's what they were doing at the time. Um,
Right.
but but they would pick out stones that really resonated with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I got to witness that at a young age. And my grandmother did wire wrapping, it looks like that's what you do with your stuff. Is that wire wrapping that you're doing?
Yep, it's all hand spun and hand woven. I
Hmm.
don't do any soldering. It's really pretty basic, but I just
That's time
all
consuming.
yeah, all the connections are I, I I can measure out where I want to connect the wire and then just kind of turn it in so there's no kind of pokies or it doesn't catch on your shirt or rub on your skin wrong, you know. So
That is so beautiful.
thank you so much. I have one more necklace to show here, and this is a fun one as well. This is one of my glass ones, and it has pearl on it. The color's not the best on it, but this thing is really popping in the sunlight. And this was fun because a fun one for me to make because I was actually invited to have a gifting booth at the American Music Awards a couple of years ago, and I met a Persian actress, and she really fell in love with my glass and wanted me to make a necklace for her. So I made that one that I just was showing you here, but she felt it was too big, so I made her another one and still have this one, but it's really special to me. Citrine beads, microfaceted amethyst beads, and whatnot, and the pearls I've got from a trip to Milan, and that was this one right here was um,
Oh,
involved. I was invited to. I got this amazing email one day. 3 or 4 years ago from Milan, and it was this Artistar contemporary jewelry contest that they were having, and so I was like, okay, great, I'll make some pieces and submit it and see if I get accepted. And like 400 artists applied to be in this show, and they chose me among probably 40 or 50 other artists to be a part of that. So and this was one of the pieces that I made for that, and it's got the glass and the Baroque pearl here, and sterling silver and gold fill wire here. So that was really fun for me to be a part of and go over to Milan and experience
oh,
the culture over
wow.
there. Yeah, that was really a memorable time, and have a couple of books that they put together with. I did it 2 years in a row, and I didn't go back the second year, but yeah, I really enjoyed my time. I did. Have you ever been to Italy? It's just an amazing
No.
place. Oh my God, the art over there is that like they take it to the next level, and these cathedrals that just go up beyond you, how far you can bend your neck back, and like this one in Milan, the Duomo Cathedral. It took over 600 years to make this cathedral, and it's so much marble, and that the columns inside the cathedral are as big as redwood trees, and stained glass everywhere, and everything is all the wood doors are just covered with carvings and ornate. It's mind-boggling how much art and love and passion that they had for putting putting these cathedrals together. And
So when you were in the cathedral, then you were just feeling nothing but love, energy in there then.
a lot of love, energy, and a lot of tourists. So yeah, that was really a fun time. Got to travel around to different areas. I didn't make it down to Venice, but I was dating someone at the time, and we went to Lake Como, and then went up to the Alps and stayed a night or two up in
Mhm.
uh, the uh, the Alps, and took the train. And oh, it's just one interesting note about Italy, I consider myself a gluten intolerant person, and I don't stay away from pasta and pizza and flour in the United States for the most part. And I was like so bummed out when I went over there. I was like, that's their jam over there, like pasta and pizza, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna have a slice of pizza. Or I'm gonna order this pasta dish and just experience it, right?
Mhm.
And I found that I had no reaction whatsoever to the pasta and the pizza over there, and I really feel like it's I don't know if it's the gluten. I really feel like it's kind of like the Roundup, if I can be completely honest. The
Uh-huh.
stuff that they spray on our foods and produce and the flour and wheat and whatever. So Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a culture that's, over 1,000 years older than us, right?
Right,
And so they have their farming techniques that they use, old world farming techniques. And here in the United States, we're all worried about growing as much as we can, and we're altering what we're growing, and we're adding
right,
chemicals to it so we don't get eaten by bugs. And
right. It's crazy.
it
It's
is.
really crazy.
And
And
it's
so,
causing a lot of illness in this
yeah,
country.
another thing that I know we're kind of off topic on the jewelry and me right now, but I was impressed with the level of fashion that these people really um, what do I want to say? They are very fashion conscious, and I think if I was to walk down the street in sweatpants, they have a right to shoot you. Like sweatpants are not allowed on the street in Italy. It's not okay. So
It's
don't
not
do
okay.
that if you go over
And
there.
I think also in Europe too, like they're more compassionate for their own bodies. Like they really care about how they're feeling. They take breaks more than we do
Oh,
here,
wow. Right? Yeah,
right?
everything closes down in the afternoon for a couple hours. I mean, you can't go out. Well, you can go out, but nothing is open for a couple hours during the day, which was like that's pretty cool that they take that time. I mean, they have later evenings than we do, I think, for the most part. One thing that was really shocking to me was they really like smoking over there. Like I would say, 8 out of 10 people I saw were smoking, like everywhere, like
Right.
restaurants, and like that's their jam over there. They like that. And another thing is they have two different prices at restaurants. If you want to stand up and have a cappuccino, that's one price. If you sit down and have a cappuccino, that's a completely different price. It costs more to do that. So there's a lot of people, a lot of bars that people sit at and just grab a espresso in the afternoon and go on with their business. So super fascinating culture.
Oh, I can imagine. And where you live is an interesting culture within itself in Sedona.
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's a spiritual destination of at least the states, and I'm sure there's other like Ashland or there's other places that are high vibe, conscious, collective of part of their the population there is really conscious, and Sedona just seems to bring a lot of spiritually minded people to this town. Tourism has really blown up over the last couple of years, and it really shows on the traffic that starts to, it's gotten more and more every year. But I guess that's a good thing. People really want to come here and experience that. And it's just, if you've never been to Sedona, it's just gorgeous here. It's like almost living in the Grand Canyon, if you will. It's got these
Oh,
beautiful
nice.
mountains and a lot of vortex spots that people spend a lot of time on, and I can feel them when I go to the different ones like Bell Rock and Cathedral are two ones, and I haven't been to those in a while. They just really crowded these days. So and I wouldn't even consider myself a desert person, and I'm surprised that I'm here. But there's it's beautiful here. The energy is amazing. There's a creek, Oak Creek, that runs through Sedona, which has a lot of trees, which really is something that's dear to my heart. I'm very into nature and very into, like, I grew up on the East Coast and spent a lot of time in Appalachian Mountains and whatnot, and really miss that in a lot of ways. And then, of course, Humboldt County had the redwood trees. I lived pretty close to the Avenue of the Giants and really spent a lot of time in those trees, which are just mind-bogglingly big. Wow.
Oh, I can imagine. I remember going there to see the redwood trees when I was a kid, and it was amazing how big those trees get. I think everybody should take a chance to go and see that at least once in their lifetime.
Yeah, it's a national treasure, and thank God. I think it was Theodore Roosevelt that actually saved them. There's out of the 2 million original acres of redwoods, there's only 2,000 acres left now. It's really
Oh,
it's really a shame, but at least we still have some great parks and magical forests that are still there, dotted through Northern California.
Oh,
So,
that's truly amazing. I want to talk about some of your crystals, like how you go and pick them out,
okay.
what they do for you, or what they would do for our listeners if they were to pick them out. What what are you looking for when you're picking out a crystal or a gemstone?
Well, that's kind of an interesting process because like we have more crystal shops in Sedona than coffee houses. It's kind of like a thing here. Crystals are a thing here. And like if I'm going out, that's a really frequent question for me. Like how do these crystals come into your life? Do you just buy them all, or um, not all the time? I'll kind of come back to how. Well, I'll go ahead and finish that. So when I go to a crystal shop, I basically walk through the store and just really pay attention. I'm not like go up to the aqua aura counter and then just blindly pick something out. It's really like the crystals call to me. They're like, I want to be wrapped, or they just have a special energy that's brighter than the other ones that I choose, or that choose me, I guess I would say. And they come to me in different ways. Sometimes I buy them. Sometimes I go down to Tucson and Gem and Mineral Show. Um, Other times, people will just mail them to me. They're just like, "Hey, I was really guided to send you this bag of crystals." And the most interesting way was, I would say, maybe about 4 months ago. I have a little apartment studio where I do my work, and I went outside one day and there's a flower bed out in the front of my place, and I looked down and there's a crystal there that I've never seen before,
Wow.
and like a little fairy or something just dropped it there and brought it to me. So I thought that was pretty cool. So and they all, like I said, they all have different energies to them. These two right here, I took a trip out to the East Coast, and on the way back, that was kind of a rough story because my mom had passed and I had to go deal with her estate and whatnot. But I was like, on the way back, I'm
Hmm.
going to make some time for myself, stop in Arkansas, and go to
Oh, yeah.
one of these mines and see if I can find some crystals. Right, so
Right.
I roll up to the Ron Coleman crystal mine, and you pay like $10. It's nothing. And you get a little bucket, and um, I brought a little shovel with me, but they supply that there. And what they do, you can't go into the mine directly, but they'll scoop up some of the earth from there and then bring it up to this plateau and then dump it out. And then people can just dig through the dirt and find crystals. So these two right here, I actually found myself. So I thought these are super special because they have never been handled by anybody else, and
Oh,
just by me.
nice.
I found. Let's see if I can. Where is it? This was my this was my best find that day. Check this out. It's a double terminated super
Oh,
fatty.
oh my God, that's beautiful.
Right? Like it's so
Hmm.
special to me. So, and these I all found on the ground, on the top. They were all like surface scores, as I call them. So it just felt like I had a really good eye that day. And I have, let's see, three that are in amulets right now. I didn't grab the one out on my case. There's another bigger one that I found and put in it's actually on my website if you want to check that out. And yeah, super special. I love Arkansas crystals. Brazilian crystals have their own jam and their own flavor to it, and I'm really into the Lemurian ones. I don't think I have one in front of me here, but they have on the face of the crystal they have these. It almost looks like a barcode. They have these lines on it that kind of determine that it's a Lemurian. So I really love the energy of those.
Oh,
And,
nice. Tell us about the Lemurian crystals.
well, I feel like those crystals have, uh, co- a lot of people say that, oh, these crystals have been mined and they've been kind of pulled out of the earth, in maybe not a conscious way. And I really feel like I don't agree with that, because I feel like these crystals are coming forward at this time to really help raise the vibration of people that are attracted to them. They get moved around the country, so they're actually like gridding different areas,
Hmm.
and I feel like the Lemurians have been. Um, uh, they were from the time of Lemuria, and there's information in them from that time, from that civilization. So very special.
Is that part of the lost world of Atlantis too? The Lemurians?
That's kind of a
Is
separate
it
deal.
separate?
I think, yeah, it's a separate, and I don't really know the timeline on either one of those, which came first, but they were two separate communities, if you will, or maybe even time periods. Atlantis kind of went down in a bad way. I think people were getting off track from a spiritual vent and really kind of getting greedy or self-centered or kind of off their spiritual path and misusing technology. And I think that was one of the demises of Atlantis. But I wouldn't say I'm an authority on either one of those places. So,
Well, I happened to date a guy that named his child Lemuria, a girl.
oh
So
wow, super
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and
I
so,
love that.
I've heard, I don't know the story about the Lemurians at all, so I know about
Okay.
Atlantis, but was that part of the Palladian sisters? Or I mean, I'm just trying to figure out that name Lemuria. Since you mentioned it, it just brought back that, 20 years ago, I knew somebody with that name, and there's got to
Okay.
be a reason why that
Yeah,
stuck out in my brain.
I'm not sure where they originated from, and from star systems or whatnot, but I do know that there was a much more peaceful, conscious crowd. So
Beautiful.
they were really high vibe, and they had a beautiful, beautiful community that they lived in, and it was very harmonious. And I'm not sure what happened to them or why that ended, but and there's different thoughts on where that was. Maybe close to. Oh, I'm not even going to guess. I could say, I want to say there's man. There's different thoughts on where that is, and I'm not even going to embarrass myself with taking a guess with
Well,
that.
no, and thank you for sharing that with me. It's really, so there's a Lemurian crystal, and that's really cool to know that,
Yeah, yeah,
and so that's going to bring some kind of peace into somebody's life, that if
yeah,
a simple peace.
peace, and maybe some uh, knowledge that they didn't have before, of how to raise their consciousness or how to live more harmoniously. Um, but they're definitely coded. I definitely believe that they're have a lot of information in them.
Oh, that's
As
sweet.
all and crystals, in general, can hold so much information, and that's it's been proven by modern science that they definitely can hold information, transfer information. They're used in computers and all sorts of different technology that we find useful for that kind of information storing and transferring of data.
Oh, that's really cool. And they
Yeah,
also have healing properties too, as well.
absolutely, absolutely. And the beautiful thing about crystals is we as caretakers of them, or owners, if you want to put it in a different way, but I like to say caretakers, because sometimes they need to move on, or they break, or whatever, or that we have them in our.
Borrowers.
What's that?
We're borrowers.
Borrowers. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Um, they the beautiful thing about them is when we have one, we have there's different techniques that we can put our own intentions into, and it'll hold that intention, that prayer. Uh, most people either want more of something or less of something in their lives, right? It's like,
Hmm.
I want more peace, or I want less uh, uh, interference, or
Right.
whatever you want to say. So, and that goes for clear crystals or um, the amethyst, or just about any crystal can hold a frequency. And back to the sunset aura, I think uh, there's people that really kind of poo-poo the uh, the process that these go to get this orange color. This is a sunset aura right here. And what happens with them, which I find really fascinating, is they take this crystal and they put it in a vacuum chamber and heat it up to 1,000 degrees or something, and then introduce vaporized precious metals, and that is it's called molecular disposition. And what happens is these precious metals get molecularly bonded to the surface of the crystal, and it adds the frequency of the precious metals as well, and it really adds a lot of more vitality or more umph to the crystal. So I really like those. People like um, color and flashy things anyway. So
Oh, so they're practicing alchemy in stones now.
yeah, exactly. So this is an aqua aura, and
Uh-huh.
this has had vaporized gold uh, um, deposited on the surface of it. And I'm told that the thickness of this of coating, if you will, is like 1/10 of the width of a hair on your head. So it's really thin, but it doesn't wash off. It's really crazy.
We have a question in the audience.
Okay.
Catherine wants to know, can you tell us anything about Auralite 23?
Oh, Oralite. Hey, Catherine. So Oralite 23 has 23 different minerals in, I think, it's kind of like an amber color, if I remember correctly, but it has, I don't have the list in front of me of all the different minerals that are included in Oralite, but that's a really special stone. It's almost along the lines of a Super 7, which has got sometimes I want to say, oh man, what is that? I was going to say Quetzalcoatl, but that's a Mexican bird god or something like that. So I can't remember all the minerals in it, but I think all those extra minerals have their own frequency and own vibration that add to whatever the base stone of the orolite or the Super 7. And I think both of those kind of have a majority of amethyst in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Super
How
7.
long have they been doing this? Uh,
Deposition.
yeah, mixing,
Vapor
doing the fusing of the metals and the quartz and things like that.
I'd say it's fairly new, maybe 20 years or so. I really
Okay.
don't have a clear answer on it, but it's not been around forever, that's for sure. It's kind of a new thing with technology and whatnot. And I had well, actually, I just hired a webmaster, and he's like, I really want you to make me a Aqua Aura amulet for partial trade on the creation of your website. And I was like, okay. So I went down to the crystal shop yesterday, and the price of these Aqua Auras has now like tripled. And like I
Wow.
was super shocked. Like one that is basically this size here.
Wow.
Let's see, I have it right here actually. Um, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get him a crystal for his deal. This size crystal, which was normally like $30 or $40, is now the price tag on this is $99.95.
Wow.
What is going on there? And the lady behind the counter, she's like, well, the lab, the people that ran that lab, and I think it was in Arkansas, they basically sold their equipment, the lab and the equipment and whatnot, and then the people that bought it aren't going to be making it. I don't know, they liquidated or something like that. So they only had 10 pieces of the aqua aura there, and they couldn't get any more. I was like, oh my God, crazy. And
Wow.
that's the same thing as moldavite. I don't know if you guys know about moldavite, but it was they're still a little bit unclear on how that happened, but there was basically a meteor that came down in Czechoslovakia and Moldovia, I
Hmm.
believe the province was, and it blew up a bunch of rocks and material into the atmosphere, and it kind of like turned it into glass. Like it got so hot, and then it fell back into the earth there. And actually, moldavite is more precious than diamonds. It's kind of a rare deal, but it was pretty approachable. And lately, that has gone through the roof as well. Thank you very much, TikTok, for kind of blowing that up. And people now, and a lot of people are it's really in high demand. And I haven't made a moldavite piece since the prices went up as high as they have. Unless somebody really wants to pay, because it just kind of pushes it out of my price points that are comfortable for the people that are my clients and going to shows and whatnot. People just don't want to pay that price for that anymore. So.
So, what's the average price of one of your creations?
Well, I have a wide range. First of all, I use two different kinds of wire. For my more approachable work, I use a quality blended plated wire, like this one right here is gold plated with this amethyst right here,
Hmm.
and that is much cheaper than doing my uh, also, I also use like 14 karat gold and sterling silver. So there's two different, very different price points. So because I like to have something for everybody, not
Right.
everybody can grab a 14 karat gold amulet from me, but they can afford something like this. And these little minis that I'm doing them for like 188 to $200. This one is probably 350, 388 or something like that after tax and whatnot.
Hmm.
And then this one right here with the double amethyst is close to $1,300. So
Wow. That's
so there's a
nice, though.
oh, thank you. Yeah, that's approachable. Yeah, I mean that's a deal for these. I think that's a great fair price for 14 karat and two super fancy faceted amethysts. So wide range of prices. My necklaces are over. They range from 1,300. I did have one that was $4,000 that I had at a show, and somebody bought that, and I was really excited about that day. And so um, this one, I want to talk about this crystal, which is super fascinating. This just came into my world maybe about 6 months ago. And I don't know if you guys know Dwayne Ollinger. He owns the Blind Frog Ranch. And he has had so much UFO activity on his property that the Discovery Channel has gone out and is working on the second season of a documentary of this guy's place. Like there's super paranormal activity. I heard him speak. He's this really super friendly Texan. Like like he's got this big handshake and yeah, come on down out to the ranch anytime you want. And like he's
Oh,
invited. I met him and he's like invites everybody to come out to his ranch and check things out. But I heard him speak and it was really fascinating because he like they he, he had a satellite imagery of the land because he's got gold on the land. That's kind of his main deal there to mine for gold on this property. But he did this satellite imagery, and at some certain level, there's this 6 foot layer of blue dirt, like and nobody knows how that got there or what's happening with it. He has
Wow.
these, right, like it's super fascinating, and he has these spring-fed ponds that are on the property that have healed people, like brought back their hearing and have taken away arthritis. Like these are super amazing healing pools that are are a part of his property and his life there. And so, if you want to check that out, it's the Mystery of Blind Frog Ranch on the Discovery Channel. So check that out. It's a really cool guy. He's really an amazing person and super friendly. You don't meet many people like that. He's like a friendly Texan, like you'd
Aw.
imagine Texans would be. Yeah, I really, really love that guy. So anyway, back to this crystal. So I had some people go to his ranch and then bring me some, and they sold me the. I bought about 6 pieces from them, and they showed me he actually had a soil analysis done on the property, and it is crazy because it shows that the crystals in some of the soil there are an unknown element to planet Earth.
Ooh.
So this is not from this planet, this crystal, and whoever brought them there or deposited them there or however they got there, it's not from this planet. And this amulet I can only wear. It's vibrates at such a high frequency. Like I can't wear it all the time. Like I try to. This is a personal piece. I actually have another one that I have on my website right now, but they are super high frequency and they're not from here. So that's super fascinating to me.
That is really amazing. Now,
Right? Like that's
I
crazy.
know, but besides the energy being really high on that, like, what do you think? You don't have any arthritis or anything like that, do you? Because I
No,
know that you work
no.
with your hands constantly and stuff like that. But do you think like that super high frequency of energy would like take care of any kind of ailment somebody would have all of a
I don't
sudden if they had it?
I'm not sure about that, but I do know that it is resonating at 1,000, or what they tested it at, 1,300 and no, it's 133,333 hertz. Like it is
Wow.
super high spin
Wow.
rate on it. So it's real. Like I would love to do an aura photo with this guy right here and see what happens.
Uh-huh.
I should actually do that
Yes.
and see what happens. But there was a woman that I met at a conference that went out there and took some equipment and she tested people's aura and it really ramps you up. So very special. The people that sold them to me, I wish I had bought more of them from them. Like this one was uh, $300 to me, and then a piece that was like this size that I have only one left was like $100, right? And then they wrote me back and said, "Oh, we're going to get these certified, and paper's going to come with them, and now we're charging $100 a gram." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, wow.
Right? So it's like I can't really justify grabbing any more of those, but I wish I'd have bought more of them. But I do have one left that's a super fancy design, and I can grab it if you want to see that. But yeah, super fascinating crystals.
Oh, that is really I wonder what it would be like to take one of those, and put it under your pillow and sleep with it, and I wonder what kind of like or even meditate with it and to see with that high frequency of vibration, what is gonna open up for you.
Yeah, exactly. I just know I feel really speedy and zippy, like maybe way too much caffeine. Like my heart starts racing and I get hot, and so I have to take that one in doses for sure. It's like crazy,
I love it, I love it.
right?
That is
So,
beautiful. And
right?
so do you have I know you have a website, but there's galleries there in Sedona. Is your pieces also out in town in different galleries as well?
Yeah, yeah, I have some at a place called Crystal Magic, which is in West Sedona, and they have some probably about six of my pieces that are kind of in this range of a size, so they're really wearable and approachable. I have a kind of a high-end jewelry shop here in Uptown that has some of my work, and I just sold some to a new shop called the Green Witch, which I love this
Oh,
lady. So she bought some. I made her some lemon quartz, faceted lemon quartz with the 14 karat gold. She wanted me to do some nicer ones for her shop there. So I wouldn't say I do a lot of galleries just because galleries mark things up three times
mm-hmm.
the value, and my stuff is already a little bit spendy for a lot of people. So I don't really do that. And I'm not really into consignment. I really don't like the energy of consignment. So if you like these places bought from me, I do the jewelry store. I do have a couple of pieces on consignment, but nothing's really ever moved there. So they don't have the passion and the umph that I do like at a show. And I
Right.
really feel like I have a gift with connecting with people. And it's when I'm at a show, it's really more about building relationships. And I really have um, seems like I have a lot of people that follow me on Facebook, but a lot of these people at the shows, I like in email contact with, like they're my friends. Like I just love making friends at shows and connecting with people and hearing people's story, and then just offering the benefits of my work to them. And I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about the Vogels, because if you don't know about Marcel Vogel and Vogel crystals, they are super special. And Marcel Vogel, he was a scientist that worked for IBM. And how this path for him with crystals started was he read this article about how plants could hear us and communicate, or just feel our thoughts and whatnot. So he started doing these experiments with plants. Um, and it didn't matter the distance, whether it was 8 inches or 8,000 miles. Like if he had a sister lab somewhere in the UK, and then he would think like, I'm going to burn your leaf or something like that. And the plant was hooked up to a what is that? A lie
Oh,
detector? What does that machine call it?
there's electrodes that they would hook up
Yeah,
to the. I know what you're talking about, like an
yeah. So
EEG,
what's that?
an EEG.
Yeah, an EG, and it would start going crazy. And then I think 3 or 4 years later, he woke up with this dream about a crystal shape, and it was just like this download that came to him, and it was basically here's a true Vogel right here.
Oh
He's long
wow.
since passed, but there's people that had cut for him, and they're super precision. So this shape is based on the Kabbalah tree of life, and each end you can see one of the ends is, let me see if I get that, is a little wider, and it's based on the shape of the degree angle of the pyramids. And
Uh-huh.
then the other one has a specific angle to it as well. And what he found, he spent his lunch hours every day for a year. He had all this lapidary equipment in his laboratory, and he sent his assistant to Arkansas, and they got all these crystals, and he came back, and so he started testing them and found that the shape that he finally kind of settled on was in resonance with water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 454 hertz or something like that. And so, what are we? We're like 70% water, right?
Right.
So
Right.
these things were really in resonance with our bodies. And he started out with a four-sided one. This is a six-sided one, and this one is a 12-sided one. And he was saying
Ooh.
that the more facets these little planes on there that you have, it really adds more frequency and volume to the energetics of them. And then, I mean, it just organically unfolded to him doing these tests and learning how to work with crystals. Here's a one that I have on my Buddha. Uh, I pulled it off for this show right here. But I wanted to share a couple of his techniques for if you're a crystal freak like me at home and you have crystals and have don't know how to clear them or charge them. I'd love to share that with you guys right now. Would that be okay in
Oh,
our
please
chat?
do.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so clearing a crystal, there's a lot of different techniques. You can smudge it, you can put it in salt, you can run it underwater. Sometimes I'll bury them on the land overnight on a full moon or something like that. And sometimes I'll do that for clients. I'll make them an amulet, and it's like, oh, would you like me to take it down to the vortex site and vibe it up overnight? So sometimes I'll do that. But his technique was very different. Like he would take this crystal, hold it between his fingers like this, right?
Hmm.
And then he would look at, there's 6 sides on this. So he would do 3 sets. So you got this side and the back side, right?
Right.
And he would intend that it was clearing. And then he also found that there was something with your breath, correlating with the breath when you work with crystals. So he would look at this side and then he would kind of do this like snort, like a horse would. He'd go, and then he would hold that clearing, turn it to the next 2 sides right here. And then he would turn it again and then blow out through the nostrils. And then to charge it, he would hold it in his hand and intend love and well-being, right? And turn it clockwise until the crystal starts feeling sticky, right? Like, what?
Hmm.
What are you talking about? But it's true. Like if you roll a crystal in your hand and charge it up with your energy and intend love and well-being, like to test that, you just put your finger on one of the faces, and now I can feel that like my fingers actually
Oh,
somewhat sticky.
yeah.
It doesn't slide. It won't
No.
slide. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's like glue. Wow.
Right? Like I'm not kidding. So then if you draw your breath in, it pulls the charge out of the crystal and now it'll slide along the edge smooth. And then if you do it'll get sticky again. It's the craziest thing. Like I just was studying this a month ago. I was like, wow, that is so cool. I never knew that about that. And then if you were to wanting to charge yourself, like you're feeling tired or something,
Right.
you hold your crystal in your hand like this with
Okay.
kind of, this one's double terminated. I think it'll work on something that's single terminated. Like this one is as well, doesn't have a termination on. It's just got the single termination at the top.
Right.
But anyway, so if you hold the crystal in your hand like this and do that, and then imagine that the energy is running through one arm and into your body, and then turn it, do that again, and then flip it around, and then repeat the process. And now I'm like starting to get hot. Like I can feel that. Like that is getting me energized. Like that's really fascinating to me how that works. So he really went into how to use crystals for working with people. And another thing that I learned from him was when you're working, if you want to heal something on yourself, do a little self-healing.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Basically, you're going to hold it in your dominant hand. Like I would be left-handed, so I would hold it in my dominant hand. So that crystal point, maybe it's not as big as this one, but basically you're going to want to hold it between your fingers and have the bottom facing your palm chakra, like you have a little chakra like you do on your
Hmm.
all your different points here, but you want to have it face towards that, and then have an index finger that is on the pyramid at the top, the termination.
Okay.
And he said that if you move your finger closer to the point, but not covering it, it narrows the beam of the energy coming out of the crystal. And if you pull it back, it broadens the energy stream. So, and the way you can test that is, he was saying that bring your other hand up, and then with a clockwise motion, kind of come into your other hand 6 inches
Wow.
away or so, and then you can either do an up and down motion or a
Oh,
circular.
wow.
And then I can totally feel that. If you guys are out there practicing
Yes.
with your feeling, you can totally feel that on your hand. And if you were going to do a self healing on yourself, what you'd want to do is kind of come in again, and then you can close your eyes, do that pulse, and then start to breathe like like you have a little mouth on your palm chakra here where the crystal is, and breathe through the crystal into your arm, and you're now visualizing the spot. Like I sometimes I have a sore hip or something, it's a little stiff or whatever, so I would breathe into that crystal, down my arm and into my hip, and then visualize what I want to happen there. And then you can, if you want, you can do some circles with that and continue that breathing exercise and breathe through that. And then when you feel complete, he has this motion of kind of closing your hands like that, and doing that breath once again, and that breaks the connection. And it actually, because we're working with not only the physical body but the mind, and the mind, body, and spirit. So there's a root cause of why you have that pain, and you can also that's at a deeper level than just the physical, right?
Right.
So everything is connected, and there's a root cause for whatever that is. And you can also use this technique on repressed emotions or anger or anything you want to really work on. You can use this technique for that. And I really found that super fascinating.
I
So,
do too. We have a question from a listener, and Dennis, actually, he's a good friend of mine. He goes, what do
hey,
you think
Dennis.
about group intention to charge the stone?
Oh my God, yes. Yes, I think that's one of the techniques that they used in Atlantis. They either had this master crystal or a sphere crystal, and then the council would all get around it and focus their intention on that. And they'd amplify the consciousness of the people, or do healings, or modify the weather. Or I think that is a very great point, Dennis, that you're bringing up there. Yeah, that it's always more powerful with one more than one mind,
That is amazing.
right?
So if you were to do the group intention with a crystal in one of the vortexes in Sedona,
Woo!
wow, like that is mind blowing what could happen right there.
Exactly. Like there's a lot of people that do crystal grids here, and I always see them, but they never have other people with them, and, except for Sandra Walters. She does that with her Vogels. She has these little stands that she stands them up, and I actually made one with these coils that went around, and she'll do these activations on the land with her people that follow her and people that come to her retreats. Sandra Walters is amazing. Yeah. So, but a lot of people do that, but I think more of them should do it with other people.
Oh, of course. Yes,
Right.
I do too. Um, I mean, right now we're all working on collective intentions to get through this experience that we've been having for the past couple of years.
Right.
Um, and a
Right.
lot of changes taking place in
Yep.
the past 2 years, and I think this is our wake up call.
Yes.
uh, to be more mindful with each other.
Yeah, and I don't I I like to think that there's a blessing here because human beings are very homeostasis. They don't like change. It really
Right.
sometimes comes down to something icky to really make us say, well, that something's got to change here, and it may not feel comfortable. We just like things to stay the same, and it just can't be that way anymore. And I don't know if you've been feeling a raise in frequency, or the sun's getting more intense and time seems to be going faster. It's like, whoa, where are we these days?
Yes, I mean, well, during the beginning of the pandemic, time slowed down, way down. Like
Oh, yeah.
it
Right.
just went really like a crawl. Like that
Right.
year was like and I lost somebody during that time period,
Oh,
so it was just like mind blowing how how quiet and slow it was, and all I had was myself at that point,
uh,
during that time period. But
gotcha.
then, things started shifting and we're going right back to that fast speed again. Like we're
Yeah.
coming out of this and we're going back into the same energy before, the fast speed. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, I mean, Thanksgiving's going to be here, right?
Yeah. I can't believe we've already been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. Like
I
that.
told you, they don't realize that you go, oh, 90 minutes. We're going to be on the show for 90
Wow, that's a
minutes.
long show, man. How
I know
people
you said that, and I said, "Well, it goes by really fast, though. Especially, we have a good time, the energy. People ask questions; they want to know." Like, I have another comment here. Dennis says, "I've been thinking about this for the last week or so. There's no accident." So he says he's going to do in his next group meditation a group with his stones and have them do it
awesome.
and intention and
Awesome.
stuff like that. So yeah,
Beautiful.
I mean. Um, yeah, I do 90 minutes because you get into it, there's this warm up period.
Yeah.
People felt a little uncomfortable being on camera. And then, once you get going though, it's just like having a great conversation
Right.
and we're here to help people. That's the whole intention tonight, was to help at least one person
Nice.
to move forward with their life. And Catherine says, I felt the energy while practicing without a crystal in hand.
Oh, wow. Super cool. I love it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love
Thank
it.
you for sharing that, Catherine.
Thanks, Catherine. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so you gave us some cleaning techniques too, as well, with our crystals. How often do you suggest people do that?
For sure, when you first get a crystal, you never know who's picked it up at the crystal shop, or what ambient energies it's been sitting in, or where it's been, or whatnot. So, definitely when you first get a crystal, and I don't know, it depends what you're doing with it, where it's at in your house, if you're working with it. On even clients, or if it's in near a computer or something like that, you may want to clean it. I don't know, once a I'd say maybe once a week,
Mm-hmm.
but it just depends. I think there's a lot of factors there, but I like to, like, after a show, I'll definitely clear all my crystals, and because people are handling them and looking at them, and I have them in a glass case, so they're not running off with them, thank God. So
I
so
gotcha. So if our listeners, if they wanted to go to your website, I have it posted in our description, but just tell us briefly where they could go to purchase one of your beautiful creations.
I would say my website is John Farris, Farris, visionary arts with an s.com, and it has all my links there. I have a lot of pieces on my website right now, but I don't have all of them, like these little minis. So if you want to jump on my Facebook page, that's where I post most of my most current work. And Facebook has been very kind to me. I love the people that are following me. They like to scoop them up pretty fast. So I'm really grateful for that. And I've got a show this weekend in Sedona. I don't. That's a lot of. It's a little bit of short notice for everybody, but that's Sedona Great Awakening Conference is where I'll be showing all my current work, and that's right here in Sedona at the Masonic Lodge. You can go to sedonagreatawakening.com and find information, and that's really got a lot of diverse speakers from surveillance capitalism to biomagnetism. It's really a wide range of different things, and so that'll be fun to attend. And yeah, all my links are on my website, my Instagram. I have a YouTube channel. I don't put too much energy in that. I seem to be pretty busy with everything else that I got going on. But yeah, my Facebook page is my main jam, other than my website. So
Yes, and we do have those links in the description for you to click on and hook up with John. And John, I can't believe how beautiful I can see the creation when you pick up these pieces and you're showing them how much
uh,
love and energy you're putting into each of these pieces.
oh, thank you so much.
It's
So much.
beautiful.
And I think you're feeling the energy as well, right?
Yes,
We'll look
and
back to
I've
it.
never seen blue wire wrap either.
Yeah, I don't break out the blue, the colored wire that often, but I thought I'd give this Vogel a little regal look to it. And I love the mixed metals because I really feel that gold is more masculine
Uh
in
huh.
energy, and the silver is more feminine. So it gives it that balance between the male and female energies.
Oh, I love that. So, is that like yellow gold is more masculine, or do you think white gold too is masculine as well?
Oh shoot, I didn't think of that. Boy, you caught me off guard with that one. Let's see.
That's
I,
okay.
I don't know. I'd have to feel them, I guess. I haven't really worked with any white gold, but that'd be good to check out and feel.
Because me, I'm attracted to yellow gold, but I have a lot of masculine energy, that flows. I've been more male than female in my lifetimes on this planet. So
Okay.
I've always been attracted to yellow gold, but I know a lot of feminine energies are contracted to white gold white gold or silver, you
Okay,
know.
cool. Great.
Yeah.
That's
So
something
it's just
I just learned
interesting that
something.
you kind of confirmed that tonight.
Nice. Yeah, you just taught me something. That's great. I don't even think about white gold that much because I don't buy it. So, but it's good to put that on my radar. So thank you.
Yeah, so well, I mean, white gold and silver look the same to me, so and platinum, they all look the same to me. I can't tell them apart. So I know that you can tell by the energy,
Right.
but the
Right.
look at them, you can't really. At least I
Yeah.
can't. So and
Right.
it, I also wanted you to share. You've been on other podcasts. I know that you showed me one that you've been on recently. Do you do a lot of these podcasts so people can just Google your name and find you all over YouTube?
Oh, I would say that kind of came in a little wave here. I just did one on Wednesday with Paula Estera. She's from LA, and she makes these. She's kind of a public figure that makes these amazing wands. She works with crystals, and that girl's got a lot of flavor. She's younger, but she's
Hmm.
really on fire. She's like a starseed or something like that, and really enjoyed being on here. So I wouldn't say I do a lot of them, but I like to take advantage when I get invited because I like to spread the word about these amulets because they really have a lot of benefits from them, and they're super pretty.
Oh,
So
I know, but you could feel the love and the energy off of them. Catherine wants to know what you think about prophecy stones.
prophecy stones. Oh man, I don't know too much about them. Are they the round nodules, Catherine? Are they? I don't know too much about them actually.
I don't either. I mean, I
Yeah,
grew up with basic gemstones, so that when people say prophecy stones, uh, I don't know what that is either. I grew up with fool's gold, amethyst,
yeah.
topaz, all of that, and a lot of crystals. But the stuff that you showed me tonight, like that's just mind blowing. I didn't
Uh,
even know that stuff even existed.
Super cool. Yeah, I would have to Google the prophecy stone just because I don't really work with them that much, but yeah, they have that name for a reason, And I have worked with some tektites that have fallen in Arizona here that are called sapphirdites, and I know that those are what came to my mind is they're wish fulfilling stones, and I actually have one of those on my website that's combined with a Star of David crystal. So that's a really pretty one. So yeah, they all have their own frequency, and I think they're named that for a reason.
Well, yes, exactly. Uh, well, we are coming, we only got about 4 minutes left, and I want you to have an opportunity to share with our guests anything that you'd like to share, some deep,
Oh,
dark
okay.
secret or anything like that. No, I'm just kidding.
Deep, dark, deep secret. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I would share that I feel like the thing that I would want to share is just keep going and keep not every day is rainbows and skittles, and even for me and in my world here in Sedona, and it's not all great days and whatnot, but it's just this. Uh, we live in a community. We're really like-minded people are really starting to connect right now, and just keep going with your gratitude and staying positive, and just know that there's strength in knowing that you can make a difference here, each and every one of us, and it's really not about comparing ourselves to anybody on Instagram or this person's better than me or anything like that. We all have a part to play here, and it's valuable. And so definitely honor yourself for your unique gifts. I mean, I have my gifts, but you guys have your own special flavor that you bring to the planet, and it's necessary. And thank you for everything that you're doing and bringing to the plate for this ascension process, and holding the frequency. And yeah, not like I said, not every day's a great day, but most of them are, and it's always a choice. But come together and keep raising the vibration and loving each other up. That's probably what
Aw.
I would,
That's
you know.
beautiful, John. And I wanted to take the time and really thank you so much for,
Uh,
friending me and agreeing to come on the show. And I hope in the near future, sometime next year that you'll come and be a guest again
oh,
and
I love
show
it.
us some of your newest pieces and where life is taking you because you're just a beautiful soul. And I
Oh,
love
thank you so
sharing you
much.
with the world. You're amazing.
Beautiful. Maybe next show I can set up the camera and really show some of my techniques and kind of the behind the scenes when I'm making a piece. I think that'd be fun,
Oh, I think that would be fabulous, and
right?
I'm just I like to say thank you for honoring yourself. When you told the story about how, you were doing the medical marijuana and it just you listened to your body and said, "Hey, I got to get out of this."
Yeah.
And you went and you listened to yourself and you started creating these beautiful amulets to help other people. So, thank
Yeah.
you.
I had that, everybody comes to some sort of ending with whatever they're doing, I feel like. And yeah, take the chance and just move through the tension membrane that we have to starting something new. And I think the secret is to when you start something new, it's allow yourself to just be a genius at it. Don't say, "Oh my God, I got this." There's a learning curve. I get it, but just have that thought that's going through your head. I'm already good at this. I'm already have There's a reason why I'm attracted to this, and I should just take the chance and give it a try, even if it's just for 15 minutes a day. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you. We're going to be ending this show right now.
Thanks,
Again,
everybody.
yeah, thank you, John, so much for agreeing to come on the show and as a future guest, we're going to love to have you back here. And I want to
Honored.
remind yeah, and I want to remind our listeners that next week we have Dr. Jamie McLaughlin on the show that's going to talk about health and your spirituality. So you guys have a great night. Thank you for joining us, and namaste.
Love you guys.